Hi, my name is Phyllis Tarbox with Above and Beyond Christian Counseling, and today I'd like to talk to you about what spirit can be causing communication breakdowns in your marriage. Have you ever said, my marriage is in crisis because of a communication problem? Or when I try to talk to my husband, I feel like I'm constantly self-defending my position. Or how about, I gave up trying to communicate because my feelings just get hurt. I hear these statements all the time in the office, and this may be a hard pill to swallow, but the spirit behind most communication problems in marriage is selfishness. If your marriage is in a communication crisis, the problem could be you. When you shut down in silence or blow up in anger, it's because you're allowing your emotions to rule. In anger, your focus turns towards being heard. You end up not listening to anything your spouse is saying, and instead your focus is on self-defending your position to feed that selfish desire to win the battle. This method allows the spirit of selfishness to invite in spirits of anger and pride. Conversely, if you're easily offended, your approach may be to sulk in silence because your feelings are being hurt. This is still a sign of a spirit of selfishness at work. And in this case, spirits of self-pity, depression, and rejection get invited in. So why is your communication in crisis? Because you're selfish. I remember hearing this at an Andrew Womack teaching at one of his conferences. It was like being in one of those 3D movies, you know, the ones where the little person is talking and you feel like they're only talking to you. And I could feel the conviction right down to my toes when he said, whenever you are hurt, your flesh wants to magnify the pain and focus on self. I went home from that conference reeling over this revelation. It seemed so simple, but it was so far from my recognition. That same evening, we were at dinner with another couple that my husband knew, and they were sitting right over behind me, and he started to talk to them from the booth behind us. And as the minute went by, my husband had not introduced me. So I could feel my feelings beginning to get a little bit hurt. So I gave my husband a cue after about 10 minutes, and I said, honey, maybe you should introduce me. But he didn't. So after about 15 minutes, I really just wanted to turn around and say, hi, my name is Phyllis, and we've been married for... But before I could blurt out that comment, I heard Andrew Womack in my head, and he was saying, you are selfish because your pride has been wounded. So I made a conscious choice that night to just let it go, and eventually, by grace, my husband introduced me, and he introduced me beautifully. I still don't know why it took him so long to do that, but I sense it was a test for me to recognize that there was a spirit of selfishness harassing me. In his book, SelfCenteredness, The Source of All Grief, Andrew Womack states, as God's redeemed children, self provides an inviting beachhead for the devil's invasion plans. It's his preferred landing zone. So let me give you 5 steps today to help you improve communication with your spouse. Number 1, during conversations, make your spouse the focus. If you're more concerned about the other person than you are about yourself, you will hear with God's ears. You'll be able to discern the root issues clearly with the right perspective. Let's face it, generally things are very different from what they look like on the surface. Number 2, never assign blame. No matter who is the initiator of the argument, do not feed that spirit of selfishness. Make it a point to forgive your spouse and walk in love. I like Andrew Womack's analogy of no-fault car insurance being the same as no-fault relationships. He states, no matter who is at fault in the car accident, the insurance company will make sure that your medical bills are paid. Similarly, in no-fault relationships, you choose to walk in love and forgiveness towards other people, no matter how they treat you, because God's coverage is up to 70 times 7. And of course, we know that scripture is in Matthew 18, verses 21 and 22. So number 3, stop self-defending. Futile efforts to self-defend just expose what's really lurking in your heart. So put down your own efforts to fight for your rights and let God lift you up to the dignity of his purpose. James 4:10 in the Mirror Bible. In other words, if you can sink, you can either sink in selfishness or be raised up to see God's face. Number 4, ask God to reveal the condition of your heart. Again, I like how the Mirror Bible translates James 3:13 through 15. It says, humility advertises wisdom. It shows in the quality of your conversation and actions. This distinguishes you with the reputation of someone who is acquainted with wisdom and skilled in understanding. If there is any hidden agenda secretly driven by bitter jealousy and contention, you have nothing to be proud of. Your big talk sounds superficial and offers no disguise. This wisdom does not originate from above, but is clearly reduced to a kind that is earthly, ruled by the senses, and dictated by demons. Number 5, get help. We say it all the time, but deliverance is a direct route to removing spirits of selfishness, pride that corrupt your communication. Remember, the one in marriage who is the most mature will be the one who humbles themselves and reaches out for help first. Take these steps. Your marriage is worth it. I pray this blessed you today, and have a great week.